Welcome back to Ride or Die, the podcast where we talk everything migration. Today, it's just me. Winnie's busy, so I'll be doing this by myself. But today we have a special guest. He is here to share the story of a migration law student who is on his final, most critical stage of the whole journey, the capstone exam. So this is the moment where all the hours that we put into studying actually pays off. We've actually talked about the capstone exam on the podcast many times, but this is the first time we actually invited someone who will be taking the exam soon. This will be uploaded on YouTube right before the written exam of the July intake too. So yeah, today we're joined by Nick. Hi Nick, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nick. As Winnie said, sorry, Sunny, my apologies. As Sunny said, I'm preparing to take the capstone exam in the coming weeks. I just finished my GDMLP at UTS a couple of months ago and excited to get the capstone underway and done with.
Mm. Tell us more about yourself because you're kind of popular and
Oh,
famous among the whole
no.
UTS alumni group. We know that you're one of Timothy Cook's favorite
Favorite.
student, and I know you're
That's an
really
honor.
active
That's a
online.
privilege.
So please, where are you and what's your actual job and all that stuff? We want to know more about you.
So at the moment, I'm currently based in Marseille, France. I'm here for a year with my girlfriend, Sarah. She's a doctor. She's fun employed at the moment, and I'm teaching English remotely here in France for a French company. It's a great way to live at the moment. But the one downside to living in Marseille is that my capstone will not be at 10 a.m. Sydney time. It will be at 2 a.m. Marseille time until 5 in the morning for the written. And I don't know about the oral exam. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
Wow.
So,
Well,
yeah, anyway,
yeah. So
that's
how are
that's
you
me.
preparing for the exam? Like, have you started? How are you studying?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I've been studying for quite some time. So, I first started studying with another student, Daisy, and she and I was initially preparing to do the February, March intake. And I just thought, okay, look, I'll be a bit proactive and I will, hopefully be able to get a letter of like support or recommendation from someone in the course. But it was made apparent that that letter would no longer be issued. Nonetheless, I still kept studying. Um, so I've been studying probably for about 6 months, I'd say. And it's on and off in terms of, dedication. It's on and off in terms of how much or the intensity. Some weeks I'll sit and do, a big block of hours one day, and then I'll do a few little bits and pieces throughout the week. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident, but that could also be highly misplaced confidence as well. So only one way to find out.
What's the hardest part of studying so far?
Um, I think for me, I'm putting the pieces together for different visas, for example, and different processes.
Mhm.
The hardest part for me is taking this information and putting it into a workflow that you can apply to future cases. And I think this is something that's really important to understand. For people who are doing the capstone, you're not essentially just preparing for the capstone. This is what I've figured out is that this practice that we're putting into the capstone, you can actually take with you into future practice, right? So
Mhm.
I think it's really important to figure out a way how to put this information into what you would consider your SOP, your standard operating procedure in regards to different visas. This is something that I'm still trying to get my head around. For some of them, it's quite easy. For bridging visas, I don't have many issues with that. For example, I like to ask questions, which helps me with workflow. And, if we start with bridging visas, for example, first question, are you lawful? Do you currently hold a substantive visa? Will you hold a substantive visa? Okay, you're looking at a BVA, right? It's that simple. Are you looking
Mhm.
to apply for a substantive visa but don't have one? Cool, BVC, right? Are you unsure of your condition altogether and you're trying to find out? If so, BDD. if you know you've got to get out of Dodge and you are unlawful, BDE, right? And then, you know, are you about to be removed from the country, but you're able to be removed from detention? Or you only have one option, and that's the BDR, right? But even that one,
Mm.
I will say, I don't know of when that's issued, to be honest. I'd have to do some deep diving, some Googling, maybe some chat GPT if all else fails. Um, but yeah, anyway, that's the hardest thing I would say is being able to take this information because we know about the Schedule 2, Schedule 1, the Migration Act, the Migration Regulation, blah, blah, blah. We know about this stuff. Where it gets difficult is how can we take this information, all these swathes of information, and how do we put this into a workflow that you can use for future practice? I would say that's been my biggest challenge.
Mm. My little input is that the capstone exam and real life, it's very different.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Academics against real life practice. Yeah.
it's funny because the capstone exam, because you study this
Mm.
much and you only get this much time to actually answer so many questions. So
Mm.
you think surface level, but then if you want to pass the exam, you have to dive deep in that short period of time. I found that really, really hard. I actually have a question
Okay.
because are you studying by yourself right now or in a group?
No, I'm studying with a friend, Numan Hussain. So he and I met during our course. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I would say about halfway through the course, he and I connected quite well. So after the first semester, once the dust had settled,
Mm.
yeah, we're speaking about how we fared throughout the semester, and yeah, just got to chatting. We met each other in person at the meetup. Um, we've met each other in person before as well.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so yeah, we're studying together basically every week.
That's good. That's good. Well, I know this question has nothing to do with the capstone exam itself, but
Tell me.
did you like taking the course at UTS? Like,
I did.
would you
Yeah.
recommend it?
Yeah, absolutely. A part of me sort of wished for more in-person classes, I think.
Mm.
But at the same time, the remote option did provide a lot of flexibility. 2025 for me was a particularly stressful year. Oddly enough, I was actually greatly affected by immigration law in my work in Australia. So I used to teach uh, English to people on student visas. So when Ministerial Direction 111 came in and 115, oh boy, this made my life very hard, right? Now, I was quite
Yeah.
lucky that where I was in my career at the time, my salary could not be very high. It was legislated to start lower and then it would slowly increase. Um, Unfortunately, though, yeah, MD 111 and 115 made life quite difficult. It's quite ironic that I am joining the very people who are beating my career into the dust. Um, so yeah, having that remote option
Mm.
was for me a massive lifesaver because if I didn't have that flexibility, the ability to join remotely, the ability to study in my own time, yeah, I not sure how it would have gone. So
Mm.
if you're again to answer your question, did I enjoy it? Absolutely, yes. Would I recommend it? Absolutely, yes. Um, I guess if there's anyone from the UTS team listening, the only thing I guess I could recommend to change would be perhaps maybe looking at some in-person activities or some in-person classes. I think that would be great.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I know you're going to ace the capstone exam. I know it. So, what
I
are the
could.
plans? What are your plans after you become a registered
Hmm.
migration agent? Are you going to come back or just stay there?
Oh, look, the plan is to come back at the moment. Yeah, I, I just, yeah, I would love to go. I would love to stay in, Marseille in France and stuff, but I go where the heart goes. So yeah, move back to Australia with my girlfriend Sarah, and she's going to finish off her pediatric studies, um,
Mm.
and then yeah, get started with practice. Who knows? Maybe with yourself, maybe with Tim. See where the world takes us.
Oh, that's funny. But you know, back in the days, capstone exam didn't exist, but now it's getting harder and harder. Do you think it's good having this in place
Yeah.
now, or do you think it's just too much?
Hmm. I think so. It's probably a good thing. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it probably serves as like a balance and check in a way, to make
Mm,
sure that um, you know people know what they're talking about, and maybe it serves as a balance and check to perhaps certain programs. I'm not sure. Um,
mm.
yeah, I suppose it's just another thing. Is it necessary? I don't know, but I think if I could be wrong, I'm part of a WhatsApp group as well for capstone preparation, and I did see the pass rates, and oh boy, oh boy, ouch! That's a lot of oh boy, ouch, hurts.
There's a lot of rumors going on too. It's a rumor. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen, but people have been saying that the oral exam was gonna become face to face. Like actually you meet
Oh
up
really?
like in person. It's rumors.
Oh yeah. I
Imagine.
hope that's not for. Yeah, I hope that's not for this one because I'm not going to go back to Sydney for it. Hopefully they come to Marseille. Um, that would be nice. Otherwise, if I had to take a flight just to take an oral exam, I might not take my capstone this year. Damn.
Even thinking about the capstone that I already took, it just gives me the chills every time. It just takes me back to the day when I had to start doing the exam. Well,
Well, I mean, you
anyways,
passed, right?
what's your favorite visa subclass to deal with? What visa subclass interests you the most?
For me, I like family and relationship visas. Work visas for me feel, I'm not sure why, it just doesn't land. I think because the family and relationship visas, there is something at stake.
Mm.
It's something you can't really buy, right? It's a family relationship, and that's quite important. So you feel like you're really helping someone. You feel like you're really um, meeting a need, so to speak, right? The business visas don't seem to land that way, or the work visas, sorry, don't seem to land that way because it feels like a bit of a transaction. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, for the moment, generally speaking, it's relationship and family visas, and the partner
Mm.
visas for me probably the one that would stand out the most. But I do like occasionally perusing humanitarian visas, the subclass 200 to 204, the 866.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. My favorite one was the partner visa as well, because, it
okay.
just seems like you can actually make it's like you listen to everyone's story and it's like a love story. And we just help
Yeah,
them prove that it's genuine. And it's so interesting.
yeah.
So every time I was studying, I was like, I want to specialize in partner visas. I love partner visas. But now that I'm
Uh,
actually working, all the inquiries are sponsors. I want work sponsors, all the employees and employers. And I'm just like, this is not what I really
yeah,
want to
yeah,
do.
yeah,
But I was
yeah.
just
Well,
like you
that's
when it comes to work visas, it was always numbers. It was like, oh, it has to meet this
mm,
number and it's this number. And to me, it's like, oh, I don't know. I want to stick to like, writing and reading and explaining because that's more me instead of like making
mhm.
sure the numbers meet and all. Oh, but the reality is different.
Have you had many partner visas yet, or has it just been strictly work?
Mm. I've had two that signed and I've lodged, and I've got a few that I'm working on. And it's so
Cool.
I came to Australia as a migrant and I lodged a partner
Hmm.
visa, like with my current husband, right? So I know the partner visa process by heart, kind of. And I'm here reading everyone's story. And it's like, wow. When I was doing all the paperwork, I could not write my statements longer than half a page. And here my clients are like sending me 6 pages, 10 pages of how much they love each other. And I was like, really?
Okay.
Yeah. Partner visas are
Damn.
fun. It's really beautiful, to be
Half a
honest.
page.
Mm.
Then 6 pages. Half page to 6 pages. Damn. That's like a love letter on steroids. 6 pages. Damn.
6 pages. I don't understand how they remember each date, like this date, 2000 and like 20, whatever, what month, what day, we went here and this is the first time he said, I love you. And I was like, damn.
Do you remember the first time you said I love you?
No, I don't think I've said it. I was like, what?
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, um, I know I kind of gave you a few questions so that you can prepare, but I've got questions that I didn't give you that I want to ask. So
ooh,
during the UTS lecture days, and I was one of the students that would just listen. I would never have my camera on. I would never share my opinions. But you are the total opposite. I think that's why
yeah.
people know and remember you. What's your personality like? Are you like
Um,
outgoing?
I mean, if you can't tell, I'm painfully extroverted. I really enjoy socializing, connecting with people. I enjoy finding out about people's background, their story. I enjoy finding out about how people came to, be in Australia or where they are now, right? Um, in terms of migration, like the world has never been this connected before, I don't think. Um, and it's funny because now we have more balances and checks to both empower and also prevent migration, right? And so thinking about that, right, you know, if you think about our cohort, we had people from all over the place. Um, so yeah, in terms of my personality, as you can tell, I'm painfully extroverted because I like to get to know people, their story, where they're from, etc. Yeah, that's
Mm,
all.
that's going to help when you become a migration agent. A lot of consultations, a lot of listening. That was hard for
Oh,
me.
look, blessing and a curse, blessing and a curse. I get carried away too easily. So that 15-minute free consultation, I've got to somehow put a timer in my head that goes ding, ding, ding. You've got to stop talking about yourself, Nick. You've just wasted your client's 15-minute consultation. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see.
Why did you choose migration law? Did it always, did you like law or why migration?
So look, the law thing's a funny thing. My dad's side of the family is just full of lawyers. My sister's a lawyer. My dad was
Mm.
a lawyer. I'm pretty sure my grandfather was a lawyer. So yeah, it's just lawyer city. And to me, it felt a bit, what's the word? Like, just wasn't my thing, right? But 2 years ago, again, MD 111 to come in. It was a very stressful time for a bunch of reasons. And I just needed a change. I needed to do something else. And I remember I looked at this very program at UTS back in 2020 and 2021 during COVID, right? Because I started doing high school teaching, wasn't for me. And I have always had a weird fascination with citizenship law and passports. I just have, right? I've got 3 passports myself. And yeah, people come to me and say, like, hey, how did you get this passport? How did you get that passport? And I seem to know a lot of random information about getting certain passports from all over the world. So it's not quite migration based, but it's pretty similar. So 2 years ago, I was at a point where I'm like, right, need a change, got to make a move. And a friend said that the government was screaming for migration agents to help process Afghan visa applicants who were trying
Mm.
to flee Afghanistan because they'd helped the Australian military or the Defence Force um, during their time in Afghanistan. And it just all clicked. It just suddenly went, right, that's it. This is the next step. So essentially how I was just at a point where I needed to make a move, and the stars aligned, and here we are.
Ah. Did you know that you had to take the capstone exam?
No, no. Had I known, maybe we might not be here. Who knows? But for
Oh, you
anyone,
know what?
if
I didn't
anyone from
catch that.
LTA, if
Yeah.
anyone from LTA is listening, please be kind to me during the capstone exam. Please be nice.
Oh my God, I was so lucky. My examiner for my oral exam was like the nicest person ever. She was
Oh, very
just so
nice.
nice. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna pass straight away.
Great. But hey, look, tell me, whilst we're here now, tell me about your experience. Like, how did you feel? Are you able to talk about the exam, like the details of the exam now, or like the question, the
Of course.
answer?
Like the questions will be available to you like a week before the actual exam, like for the February ones. You'll have a look at it and you'll
Mhm.
see how difficult it was. You would feel sorry
Great,
for me. But
great.
it was interesting because I don't remember when was the last time I was that nervous. And it's weird because I'm just taking the exam at home, but I was just
Hmm.
shaking like crazy. But
Interesting.
I'm a pretty calm person. So after like intense 10 minutes of shaking, I was calm. I was eating blueberries while I was doing my exams. So that was the
Hmm.
written. And you just need that mindset. You don't need to score 90. You just need to pass 65. So like your answers
Okay.
don't need to be perfect. Do you know what I mean? You just need to throw
Yep.
in the legislation and the correct answers that they want. It doesn't have to be like a
Yep.
perfect paragraph or whatever. So like I kept
Yep.
telling myself, I don't need the high scores. I just need to pass. So I think that helped me. When it comes to oral exams, do you remember the orals from UTS?
Vaguely. If you reminded me
It's
for,
similar.
which subject, which case,
It's similar. If you ever had Tim as your examiner, you
I
know how
did.
he was always asking you questions with a straight face?
Yep.
Like you're talking to him, but you don't know what he's thinking. So the whole time you're
Yes.
like, am I saying the right thing or am I saying the wrong thing? You're unsure. But
Yep.
the actual examiner for my oral exam at Capstone, she was smiling, nodding, and like encouraging me. So that actually made me relax. The
Hmm.
questions were like out of this world, though. If you actually don't know any content, you would just panic.
Right. And by content, you mean like, the legalese, the Migration Act, regulation, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, all that
Everything.
jazz? Yeah, right.
So,
Okay.
like, for
Okay.
example, I think we can talk about it. So, subclass 482, right?
Yep.
And it comes to like LMT, right? Labor market testing.
Yep.
When you hear it, we're like, yeah, I know that. I know that. Can you find which regulation and which act you have to go in
Oh,
to have a look under that
I
pressure?
need to
And
check.
they ask you.
I need to, yeah. Jeez.
Exactly. So if you did not have that in mind or like even look up, then you can't answer it. It's like, oh, I've heard of it, but I don't know where to look. Do you know what I mean? But luckily, I did
Yes.
study in depth, so I knew where to go.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
how
Look.
Winnie and I came up with the whole mock exam program that we do.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay. Well, look, tell me
yeah,
more about that.
now I'll just briefly, I'm not here to sell, but so after the UTS, after we finished studying, we were kind of lost because we knew what to study, but we didn't know how to study. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and what
Yep.
else? What could we do? We look up subclasses, we read the policy, we match the regulations with the visas, but we don't know what kind of questions that's going to be asked. Do you know what I mean? And I was a
Yep.
teacher for over 10 years
Okay.
in back in my country. So if I look at a scenario or a visa subclass and some twists there are, in my head, I can write a scenario instantly. So I was like, okay, I'm going to write a scenario regarding this, and I'm going to ask you a question. And that's how we studied. I was like, what if this happened? Then what's the solution? And then Winnie would come up with an answer. And I was like, but what if this happened? Do you know what I mean? And we were like, this is what we need. We should make an exam. So we made a mock exam and it's been fun. It's
Great.
I say it's fun because I'm not the one taking the exam. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I would love you to try it.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
I will. Maybe I will. On that note, one of my favorite examples from our course was, I'm pretty sure it's 78303. And it was a case regarding a guy who was on a visitor visa and he was a bit naughty and he was in a relationship with an 18-year-old girl who wasn't
What?
actually 18. Do you remember this?
No.
It was 78303, family visas, family humanitarian and something else visas, refugee visas maybe. Um, and basically this case, I
Mm.
think these cases would probably be the cases that a lot of migration agents live for because they present so many spanners being thrown into the works. Sorry, excuse me. So basically, yeah, you had this guy who, well, at least this is the case. This guy who came in on a visitor visa, condition 8503 applies, no further stay, right? Um, and he, meets an Australian girl because he wants to stay in Australia. Now, here's the problem. This guy is like 30 or 31, and he's married a girl who is supposedly 18. Now, the Marriage Act, if it's between two parties who are 18, yes, okay, it's a consensual marriage. But of course, he's applying for a partner visa. Okay. So the 18-year-old is pregnant. Yeah, exactly. Ew. Ew. So yeah, the 18-year-old is pregnant, and because they're applying for a partner visa, they need to demonstrate that the relationship is genuine and that families should know. So they tell the in this case at least, I don't know if it's based on a real case. They tell the family, and the family are not happy. They're just not
Oh.
happy.
Oh.
And the reason is because the 18-year-old is not 18. She's used her sister's birth certificate and she's actually 17. So the marriage is void. The partner visa application is invalid, right? It will be refused on PIC 4020, sorry,
Yeah.
because they've submitted false documents. The integrity criterion will apply. So they would have to withdraw that application. Those sort of cases, I'm sure they wouldn't be too common, I don't think, or I would hope not. But cases that present variables where it's just, what about this? What about that? This has changed. This fact has arisen. It's become apparent that, whilst in the moment it may be stressful, at the same time, it would certainly present a great opportunity for flexing your intellectual muscles, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those challenges actually excite me.
Yeah, same, same.
You know what I
Because I would
mean?
imagine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because if you just got hit with 482, 186, 482, 186, 482, 186, at that point it just becomes mundane and routine, right? I think you kind of need those cases or those examples, right? Which I'm sure for your mock capstone, you probably
Mm.
do simulate those exercises which
Hmm.
really push the boundaries. Um, yeah, you need those cases, I think, to stay sane in some sense.
For my capstone exam, you know what actually just stuck in my head the whole time, the whole written exam? In a scenario, it
Tell
was
me.
like, this guy is 44.5 years old. And in my head, it's like, what's
Oh,
44.5? Do you know what I mean? It's like in my head,
yeah,
it's like 44.5, what is that the whole time? Now I think about it, it's like he's just 44. And
yeah,
he's almost 45. So, 45 is that age where he gets caught. And it's just like the first sentence, this guy is 44.5 years old. And I was like, crap, what is 44.5? So the little things like this just get you. But now, 44.5, I know he's 44. The
yeah,
weird things
yeah.
just stick with you.
Do you think that it's probably the pressure of the exam? Like you're just because when you think about it, right, it's a source of stress. Okay.
Yeah.
And the body just hasn't kept up with how to identify, what was a previous stress. Like think about 3,000 years ago when you're just essentially just another animal in the animal kingdom roaming around, right? What are your threats? No water, no food, predators, illness, maybe an attack from another tribe, right? Cool. But the stress that's interpreted from an event like that, it hasn't changed to how we interpret stress now, right? So, sure, you've got a stressful question. Okay, it's
Hmm.
not like you're going to run out of water or run out of food. And we know this, but our body doesn't. So our body just goes, oh, stress, threat to life, right? Do you think that maybe when you're sitting the capstone, that the stress response just kicks in and maybe everything is
100%.
a bit distorted? Yeah, yeah, 100%.
And it's like you're so nervous because the exam itself is so expensive. And it's not like you can take another exam the next month. You have to wait for the next intake. Do you know what I mean? And
Mm,
like a lot of pressure because you already told everyone that you finished studying and now you're going to take the exam. There's a pressure of
yeah,
if you don't pass, what am I going to tell people? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So a lot of stress. And then when you see the questions, trust me, you know the answers, but it's like your heart and your ears just ringing. That's what makes you all nervous and your answers are all over the place. But if you get that under control, you're going to be fine.
okay,
Mm.
okay. On that note, actually, I have a question. So during the course, one of the suggested formats was IRAC, IRAC. You recommend?
No, no need.
Okay. What do you recommend instead?
There is no time to actually apply anything. And the answers, you just write bullet
Cool.
points. You don't need to write sentences, and there is no time. And people who are marking
Ah,
your exam, they know if you know the answer or not by looking at your sentences. Do you know what I mean? What act?
right.
The
Okay.
answer. What regulation? The answer. Do you know what I mean? You don't
Right.
have to
Okay.
like, this is because, no, there is no time. But
Okay.
when you're doing the component two, yeah, even component two, they just give you like a bunch of questions that you have to write in a paragraph form. So they will look
Yep.
at how you write it and how you reference it and how you word certain legislation, but there is no format that you should follow.
Okay.
And even if I say you have to follow the format, when the time comes, you're going to forget
Lovely.
the
Lovely.
pressure.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. Okay.
Well, I have no doubt that you're going to pass the capstone exam and I hope we can do a lot of things together in the future. A lot
Love
of
to.
people are waiting for you.
You got when you first said like, "Hey, someone likes you," I'm like, "Oh dear, what have I done? What have I said?" And then I'm like, "Here we are. We've established who this someone is, and I'm very flattered, very flattered." But yeah, look,
But someone
I'm definitely
knows.
looking forward.
I told him that I told you.
Oh, oh, hey, hello, someone. No, definitely looking forward to it because I I can't wait to get started. Like I'm chomping at the bit. And even though I'm
Mm.
based in Marseille and technically I could, no, I want to do this right. I want to do this in a way that is, you know, official, by the book, and get the ball rolling. Essentially,
Yeah.
um, so I'm really excited, really keen to get stuck in, get the MAN number. Yeah,
Perfect. Well, unfortunately, we will have to say bye, but I
that's okay.
will slide into your DMs to ask you many more questions
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
to give you
on that
some
note,
more
did you want?
information on the capstone exam. So, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your journey with us. And
No worries.
yeah.
Thank you, madam. On the note of questions, by the way, did you want to tick off one of those questions in the chat?
What question are you talking about?
Have a look at the chat.
I know. These ones. I am going to send this to Tim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I've asked Tim's wife to be on it. and answer the questions
Oh, okay.
of
Yeah,
who he
mad.
actually is. And and then I'll probably invite him as well. Because these
Cool.
questions that the other like you it's like very professional questions. Because some people when I asked, oh, do you want to ask Tim something? All they were like, are you, that cranky in real life? Or were you just cranky towards us, or is that your actual personality?
How did he take
And
that?
these questions are
He
so
seems
professional.
Tim's pretty chill. Like I think people like there are times where he's like a bit firm. That I think it's just like when you're dealing with deadlines, when you're dealing with potential, unlawfulness. I guess you've got to be a bit firm, right?
Yeah. And I know I'm only beginning with this career, but I
Mm.
am turning into Tim. One day I was talking to Tim about how I'm feeling about this industry, and then I realized, oh my God, I'm turning into him.
I mean,
So
look,
yeah.
it's not a bad thing if you want to work in immigration. So anyway, sorry, Winnie. I'm sorry. I've completely Sunny. My goodness, Sunny, forgive me. I've completely steamrolled your goodbye. It's a very typical Mediterranean thing to do: is to just say goodbye, keep talking for another 20 minutes, say goodbye again, keep talking for another 20 minutes, and then say goodbye, and then another 10 minutes, and then goodbye. So, madam, thank you. If you want to do another goodbye,
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. And we'll get in touch
likewise.
with you soon. Bye, Nick.
Done. See you.